Okay, this is part two. I, I am tired. Tired. But I have to I'm just anyway, let me finish. So resources. This is April the 22nd, 2023. I'm still at Stay America. This is part two. April 22nd, 2023. Resources is the word. And what would make those that have the authoritative position to carry a gun, who are trained in combat, to behave, what would give them the confidence that they would be able to behave in a manner that some would say harassing or do certain things? Because I would think the low frequency that's in this room that I spoke about and that I'm recording, that this is some form of technology or science that's dealing with, and because of the military being prevalent here, even here at Say America, I've seen the license plates on the cars. I would think that it's dealing with some form of military science, some science. Whether so, if you are a woman and you have a son, but you come to a new city, your community is in Baltimore, but you're in a city, and a city maybe 45 minutes driving distance away, 2 hours and 35 minutes walking if you choose to walk and catch the bus, and you among predators whom you would not think are predators, because you just would not, you have never, for example, I myself, even though I've heard of incidents definitely of police brutality, but I myself came across police officers that behave real decent. I mean, until I came here and I saw the odd behavior. But otherwise, I was like, very decent police officers, real decent, and the military. I wasn't exposed to the military, but I had the thoughts of, because of the movies, of what a military officer would be like. Islam, because of TV and what they presented on the news, movies, and so forth. But I'm speaking about truth and reality now. Okay? So what are resources? When I would think of foreign countries invading a city, okay, or I mean not invading a country, I would always think about they're going to get resources such as raw materials, whatever, diamonds, gold, whatever that country has, and they're trying to take over it and claim it as theirs. I never thought of the mind as being a resource. I never thought of your mind, which is a universe full of riches and wealth, being resources. But I'm telling you, that is the resource. So I was wondering why these Mongoloid from South Central America, Mexico, Puerto Rico, Cuba, and other forms that look Mongoloid. Maybe they could be from China, but they weren't. Chinese don't really engage that much, but they definitely are around and prevalent in Annapolis. Or they look to be from Japan or Korea. But the ones that engage, a little bit like too oddly, it's like where I had to document, especially with the feathers, because when I was starting to see feathers on my path to and from work, usually when I first started noticing them, I noticed African American black Negroes would be like brother or somewhere close looking and saying, they're trying to see, and then or saying something, or hear someone say brother or something like that, or just a car drive by and they're looking, and then I look over, and usually the Mongoloid that looked to be from South Central America would be close by driving in a truck. Or something that looks similar to a Mongoloid. Definitely South Central America. It could be from El Salvador. Those from El Salvador are not as dark. I've come across too many that's not as dark as others from South America. Okay? You can easily mistake them for being Italian or Puerto Rican. Excuse me. Or there's a group of those from Pakistan, India, that's here in Annapolis. So what I'm trying to get at, what are resources? And why were those that speak Spanish were engaging too much, like forcefully, hearing the Spanish accent around the room, close to the room, amigo. I had, like, when I first came here, I had dreams of this Mexican trying to give me a knife to protect myself. I was like, why is this Mexican why am I having a forced dream of this Mexican trying to give me a knife to protect myself? I didn't ask him for my help. But when you're trying to gain access to resources that you don't have, you see, what I'm getting at is, there are black Negroes, African Americans, melanated, that don't have sacred melon. They don't have the resources. Those from Mexico, South Central America. They could be from different parts of Africa, different countries of Africa, India, Pakistan, China, Japan. Those so-called Mongoloid, melanated, definitely African American, that don't have the resources. So when you are trying to gain access to someone's resources, that universe inside their mind, what is a clever way would you go about doing it? When you're trying to obtain and possess the mind. Because if you get a hold to the mind, you have the body. And then therefore you can sex traffic that body the way you want. You can sex traffic, you can infect the body with diseases. When we came here to Annapolis, after working at Burger King for a little while, I couldn't believe hearing the conversations they were having one day about Annapolis having a high rate of a venereal disease. I was like, that is nothing to talk about. I didn't include myself in the conversation. But I'm not surprised now. But they thought I was saying, they were trying to include me in the conversation. I never experienced forced sharp pains until I came to Annapolis. That was definitely coming from some type of frequency of sound waves from in my head, my heart, my genitals. I never experienced it until I came to Annapolis. So when you are trying to gain access to resources of the mind that you don't have, but you know that you can gain access to it, which then helps you continue to breed, maybe implement some form of bondage where you can say, we paid. I can show you how we paid. Look what we did to her. Look what we did to her son. So I was thinking, let me tell you some of the things I would think she went by for big when it came to Mexicans, South Central Americans, Cubans, and others that spoke Spanish and how they would engage. I was thinking, they trying to get a green card. I was like, they trying to be slick. Somehow they trying to get some type of green card. Which, yes, they probably will. Because if whatever demon or unclean spirit that which is being that is controlling it, it could be an unnaturalized military force, and definitely that is I could say that exists here. Using them, that would be the next step. Well, we can use that woman to get a green card. We possess her mind, breed one of our filthy abomination kids, use her son, possess his mind, get a green card, breed one of our filthy low-life abomination kids. Yes, why would that would be the next step. But my thought was, before I started connecting dots of what resources are. So when the United States Navy and Army and other places, other military branches would go overseas to these countries that were less fortunate. For example, when I looked up Sudan and the Sudan War, the Darfur War, I looked to see which countries profited most from Sudan and the destruction of the people. They used the word resources. They gained the resources of Sudan. Guess who came up? China and the United States. So then I said, after a while, I started to say, what are resources? I was thinking, once again, raw materials and so forth. But then I started to connect the dots. Your pineal gland. You have different, so as a spiritual being, a naturalized being, and when you're able to learn yourself, you say celestial, you have something, a filth, a beast, a transformed mankind don't have. But they can attack and try to gain those resources. They're beasts, they're animals, they don't have it. So I was like, what kind of resources were they getting from Sudan? What kind of resources did they get from Haiti? What kind of resources did they get from other parts of country of the continent of Africa? Rwanda, South Africa, Ethiopia. When I first came to Annapolis later on, I started to see that when I started to realize that we were among artificial intelligence here that can control technology, the tablet, the phone, or anything that has some type of electrical connection. I started to see the oddness of the weather, especially when it would rain, where the lightning, when I was walking, like lightning would like a noise, like someone, like a male would yell in an angry manner, like it was angry. At the same time, lightning bolt happened, or lightning struck. So if you have robots connected to the United States Navy, artificial intelligence, military, army, police, that can interfere with weather, storms. Now, they had them back when the drought was going on with Ethiopia in the early 80s, late 70s. I also noticed when I would, like, sometimes, I never forget, sometimes I would see, like, the clouds would move odd. Rain clouds. Or the clouds would move where the sun would show. Or not show. So if now there's artificial intelligence robots that can interfere with the weather, that can cause some form or strike fear in citizens' hearts. Now, they had it years back. And I keep bringing up Ethiopia because that's one of the main countries that was that I have read about, but they're not the only one. Causing droughts. So what kind of resources did Ethiopia have mentally that they wanted? I'm talking about the unnaturalized United States Navy and Army, the military. The same that I think, and I'm like 99.9% sure that's here now. Unnaturalized, have not been naturalized under the laws of freedom, but are property and being used by other foreign entities. Here to implement bondage. And so if they have been stalking the room, watching, trying to see how am I communicating with Sheikh Dwayne Bey, seeing if they can send some type of my dreams being manipulated, sending a frequency, a vibe, some type of vibration while I'm sleeping. Like I would see visuals. Excuse me. I would see visuals. That's not you, Sheikh Dwayne Bey. But when we communicated, getting back to resources, we communicated on a different plane. I have not gone on that plane since I've been in Annapolis. Now, I thought I was going to go there for a moment, and I came right back because the old man, an elder, said, don't go back to the plane anymore. After I left New York, I said, okay, I will not. So, I didn't. And money has never gone to the Sacred Grove. We call it a Sacred Grove. I call it Sacred Grove. And I tell Imani it's a Sacred Grove, a mental plane. I've never gone there. But if you try to get access to the resource of someone's mind, because that person, that more celestial being has something that you know that is valuable, that sacred melon, because you know it exists, because you've been all around the world and you have conquered countries, you have dominated the people, you have brought people down, nations down, getting to that resource. Then you know you're going to do what you can to slyly get in there to do the same thing to that person. So instead of you being a hero, you have been absolutely the exact opposite, the terrorist. And if you're not the terrorist, if you was the hero there, well, wouldn't you be a hero over here? It'll be easier to be a hero for the people, for the country that you come from, than it would be to go to somewhere else, and present yourself as a hero. But if you was a terrorist, a criminal, a rapist, a molester over there at a different country, then it would be hard for you to display that same behavior in your own country. Or the country you call yourself you come from. So I was like, why are these Mexicans, Spanish speaking, trying to engage? And some of them look like they're connected to the police, Annapolis police. I don't speak Spanish. So if you are bold enough to to do certain acts of harm to someone who is new to the city, who demonstrates no threat, who is a productive citizen, a woman and a child, her son, you know there's sex trafficking going on with children. You know that they would do it. There's no way they would not sex traffic a child, a kid. That would be as easy as breathing for them. Taking away innocence. Because the mind, if your mind is not invaded and has never been invaded in that manner, it's innocent, right? So a predator feeding off innocence. So yes, I'm saying that there's probably sex trafficking in a different form with kids or children in Annapolis, and not just here, all over. And yes, I am saying that those that are not naturalized properly under laws of freedom, not all, but too many are probably involved in Annapolis. That's why some behave the way they do and like they're confident to do it because they've gotten away with it for so long. They did their research. They knew how they were going to play the game. They're like, we can do this. Or we'll just keep terrorizing or doing acts of terrorism, but we're not going to label it terrorism. She has a history in her family of mental illness. We're going to prove that we can prove that she could be mentally ill before it gets that far. She keeps talking about Sheik Dwayne Battlefield Bey, but she has never seen him on a physical plane. How's she going to prove that? But we can continue to penetrate and abuse her mind mentally by seeing frequencies and vibrations while they're sleeping. Visuals. How's she going to prove that's happening? It's just like how's she going to prove that she knew Sheik Dwayne Battlefield Bey? And getting to that, I was hearing some of the Spanish that speak Spanish, they're not Spanish, say we have some letter. And we have a video of somebody. They'll be looking towards my way. We have the letter. And we have the video. Or African Americans speak about they have some video. And they'll look at me. And this is all dealing with in reference to me not being engaging with black Negro males. Predominantly. Or others. The next ones would be predominantly Mongoloid. Mexican, South Central America, whatever. But predominantly it has been the black Negro males and females. Never would I think that black Negro male and females would be the true predators. But they are. Not all, but way too many. They real sneaky. Like the Mongoloid from Mexico, South Central America, Cuba, Puerto Rico. Because they ask for the resource. So if you so used to thinking that someone that's African American, black, Negro, that speak conscious, that has that conscious mind, has the same resources as you, why would you think it's a threat? You're not going to think he or she is a threat. You're not going to think that he or she doesn't have what you have. You're going to see, well, we're the same. Why would I think that a black Negro, African American male or female would be looking at me and say we need it? Like a beast or animal. Why would I think I would experience such things? Because I'm thinking they have what I have, resources. But they don't. The ones that are unclean, unnatural, and a beast in spirit that have been transformed, they don't. They don't have it. And neither does the Mongoloid from Mexico, South Central America. The artificial intelligence, the robots, they don't have it. Whether they're from Pakistan, India, China, they don't have it. And so when military forces from wherever they were from, well, I want to speak about the unnaturalized United States, went over to some of these countries where melanin, that deep, dark sea melanin exists, that was the resources that they gained. So pale skins know pale skins. They know about the dark melanin. And the black, Negro, female, and male who perpetrate and try to impersonate Moors, they know, and they have been playing the game as though they're the same for so long. But they know that they are a downgrade of who we are. And they don't have what we have. That's why they looking at me. I couldn't believe this. Here black Negroes, African American males and females, look at me and talk about how they need it. She love your son. Because they are a downgrade of who we are as Moors. They don't have what we have. They've been transformed or never was, or they have always been some type of beast or animal, the ones I am talking about. If you haven't been transformed, and if you're not some type of beast or animal, unclean or natural spirit, I'm not talking about you. It's just as simple as that. But Morris, you know exactly who I'm talking about. And you know there's too many of them. Some of them have very well-to-do jobs, making $500,000 a year. And they're beasts. They're animal, male and female. And then some of them are only making $60,000 a year. But they're beasts and they're animal. They don't have the resources. And they work with others to transform and gain resources for Moors who do have the universe, that sacred melanin inside. So when I would hear Mongoloid, Mexicans and so forth, South Central Americans, El Salvador saying we need it, and then they look at me, I was like, it was like, oh, it's still like, oh, what is it? I'm finding feathers. I found feathers under my bed. So what would make someone feel so bold, the bed at extended stay, to come in someone's room, a woman who's not from Annapolis, and put feathers under her bed, doing some type of ritual? I spoke to Jen about it. I told her, I said, we didn't put these feathers here. How did they get here? But if you're trying to do rituals, demonic rituals, sex rituals, mentally, so you can possess the mind and sex traffic the body, then this is what you would do. Like I said, if they would do it to a woman and who has never been, who don't know anyone who comes here, they doing it to the kids. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. They doing it to the kids like it's nothing. They're making it feel like it's normal. Maybe they tell them, now you're a grown up. You're a grown up now. This is how life is. So when I first came to Annapolis, I And a lot of black Negro, male and females, they keep saying they did it. The ones I'm talking about, they possibly are connected to the United States Navy and Army. They keep accusing Moorish American National Republic. When they say they're definitely referring to Moors. When they're saying he, they're definitely referring to you, Dwayne Baffour-Bey. Did it. So I'm going to go right now when I first came to Annapolis, and I'm going to get to the curse and what the curse really is in reference to dealing with these black Negro animals and those that are like it. These beasts that are unclean and unnatural in spirit, especially when you're Moor. What is the curse? God just spoke about the resources, okay? What were the resources? In ritual. So when I first came to Annapolis in 2016 of June, when we got the last week of May of 2016, then we got the room in August of 2016. I was probably here in this room for maybe a month and a half, and my genitals was attacked in my sleep. Maybe 2 months. I was already working at Burger King. I started working at Burger King approximately around June the 9th of 2016. I never experienced anything like that before. So once again, when you're among predators that are rape, molesting kids, pimping them, it's nothing for them to see someone whom they don't know, whom they probably could Google, find out their life, their history, and attack them in the same manner. It's nothing for a predator, a freak, to do certain things like that. And so my genitals were attacked in a sexual manner where you feel like a release. I have never experienced such things like that. But I found it so odd because when I went back to Burger King to work, and I opened the door, one of the regulars that would sit at the table, that most of them that represent the military, the Navy, the Army would sit at, represent some type of retirement or work that the Navy or whatever. As I opened the door, I'm walking in, rushing to get in so I could clock in early in the day. About, I think this is when I used to work like 8 in the morning, 7 in the morning. He was like, she got off. I had only been here for maybe a month and a half to 2 months at this room. And I was like, what does that mean? Now, I'm not accusing that person, but that's what happened. The very next day, then I had another dream. It seemed like this black Negro male had a hoodie over his head trying to stick his penis in my vagina. And I opened my eyes immediately. Then I had another dream. I was laying on the couch and another black Negro male trying to started massaging my vagina, causing my vagina to vibrate, orgasm. And I woke up. At first, when I experienced these things, I felt like ashamed. I was like, what is this? What am I among? Then I started noticing the black Negro females on the physical plane. They would be looking at me saying, he effed her. He effed her. Like they did some type of, like some type of, at first I didn't think of it being a ritual. Because see, I'm new to Annapolis. And Dwayne Baffour-Bey, you are the only one that I trusted in the Sacred Grove. Now, if you abuse that trust, that is on you. But you were the only one. And I haven't been to the Sacred Grove since New York. So when I came here and this started to happen, I was like, what am I among? And then I would hear them start say, but I didn't catch the ritual in thinking that when these unclean, unnatural black Negro spirits did it, or invaded, or engage, that other unclean, unnatural, male and female, pale skin, mongoloid, they could be connected to unnaturalized military, Navy, and Army, was watching somehow, witnessing it. Some satanic, demonic ritual. Then I started to notice that the black Negro females kept looking at me saying, he F you, he F you. Then when the black Negro males would still try to engage and flirt, and I would still like keep my distance and keep it business or professional, I started to have issues at Burger King more. I'm not accusing Phyllis or the rest of them, but I mean, I documented. I mean, I was having issues with Burger King for no reason. I'm like, why are they acting this way? Phyllis was saying I was scared out of the blue. I was like, scared of what? I don't have no reason to be scared of you. What are you talking about? I was in the cooler. And I was like, what is she talking about? What am I scared of? Black. It seemed like every time there was an issue in reference to Phyllis and I or other employees, it was dealing with a black Negro male customer predominantly. Or sometimes female, but predominantly the black Negro African American male customers. The brother. Then later I started to see the feathers. But before that, my dreams were invaded a few times by Mongoloid Mexicans trying to ease their way as it seemed like they're different. Like they're trying to be a protector or a friend, amigo. Okay? They have a look when they would see me like, kind and, whatever. Then I had a few forced invaded dreams of them looking like an angel, trying to give me a knife, whatever. Because, see, this is how a demon manipulates. If you find something a threat, are you going to be so open to let it in? And once again, Mongoloids from Mexico, South Central America are in the United States Navy and Army, and they also in the police force. Then eventually I started to see feathers on my path to and from work, my daily path. And I was like, where are these feathers coming from? And I would look and see, the black Negroes. I would have heard, I can't say every single time I saw a feather, but definitely brother, especially under the underpath, people, some people or whoever be in the back, where the cars are talking loud, and then the Mongoloid drive by as I see the feather. Then I started to document. When I started to document, after a while, and then I stopped. After a while, it seemed like someone purposely was putting feathers to make a joke, as though she's crazy. It's just a feather. Ha ha ha. Anybody can put a feather down. She got a YouTube channel. Anybody can come from anywhere to put a feather down. She can't put this on Annapolis. She can't put this on Annapolis military, Annapolis police, or saying Annapolis police is somehow connected, or the United States military in Annapolis is somehow connected to this. She's on Twitter. Then I found feathers under the bed. The reason why I cleaned under the bed is because Phil started sending me home saying I stink. And a lot of times was Dora, who was from El Salvador. A couple of times she said Dora agreed that I stink. And I was like, what is she talking about? First, I thought I really was sincere when she told me that the smell she smelled she couldn't deal with. Because I had just started wearing Palo Santo oil again. I thought she was sincerely being sincere. I had just washed my hair, put some Palo Santo oil in my hair, and I came to work. And she said it like that. She said, I washed my hair the 19th or the 20th, came to work the 21st, and she complained. So I was like, that must be it. But then when I wash my hair, I did a video washing my hair, washing out, make sure I don't wear it. I would changing my shirt, changing my clothes, make sure I brought my, what. I knew I didn't stink, but I was just doing things to videotape and document, and just, just to show. She still would send me home. I missed days of work. And a lot of times it was because, it was after a black Negro male customer, I just took his order of some sort. Like, I don't know. All of a sudden she would just say, you wearing that stuff again. And she'll clock me out. And I kept saying, I'm not wearing that stuff. Then she started saying, first she said it was the scent. Then she said the hygiene. All right. This is still, and then she said it was the scent. Then she said, I stink. And one day, after I had made sure, like I was doing before, changing my clothes, she sent me home. I was sending Burger King a letter. I went ahead and called Burger King. And that's when I went ahead and called the EEOC. Because literally, I don't know how many days I missed altogether, but it was several days, many, more than one, more than two, more than 3 days of work. Because she sent me home saying I stink. And she said a few times, Dora from El Salvador agreed. And I was like, and I've been sensitive to smell. I burn incense. So anyway, I had started cleaning the room. I wanted to clean the room for the energy. That wasn't no reason because of the smell that I stink, but because of the energy. I always wanted the room, I always would keep the room some form of cleanliness because the energy, I've been here since 2016 of August. So I know how the room would feel. And we never had issues with bugs until that year as well. To the end of that year around August, we had issues with bugs here too. But nonetheless, I said I'm going to do a deep cleaning. So I lifted the bed up and I saw feathers under the bed. And so one day I had this dream or this visual of this mongoloid beast-looking male and another mongoloid, looked like from Mexico, looked similar. I'm not saying it was her. One of the co-workers named Naomi. She's very young. She may be 16 or 17 years old or 18 years old. Looks similar to her. Having sex in the visual. Like I used, and then I started to see visuals of black Negro look similar to the customers that come into Burger King that was similar. I'm not saying they were, that would come to Burger King and speak to Phyllis. And male and females having sex, and then I would feel a sensation in my genitals. I had to keep my body controlled from not experiencing such things. Spiritually, okay? This is what I'm experiencing spiritually, okay? Because when you're dealing with the mental plane of spirituality and you're dealing with unclean, unnatural spirits, they attack the genitals first. And if they're trying to sex traffic you, like they sex traffic the kids to the robots or AI or other beasts or animal species, they know that you are not that type of way, they're gonna try to figure out a way to get you ready, bring you down, and so they can get access to your resources. And once again, I said look like. That happened many times. So it's like some of the women that know Phyllis, like I don't know, she seemed to, a lot of them or men, like I said, a lot of customers seem to know the men, the managers for a while, like some type of clique. A lot of them seem to be connected to the military, Navy and Army. Come to Burger King. I don't know them. I have never implied I want to know anyone here personally, and neither has Imani in Annapolis. Not one person can say that. Never. No one has been invited in this room. The only person that was invited, and I have is Abbas, and then I have you, Sheikh Dwayne Bafabé, on the list. Not one black, Negro, African American, male or female, not one black, not one pale skin, not one Mongoloid. None of them. But if you're trying to sex traffic and you know how to use different sciences of frequency, vibrations, dreams, that can give you confidence of why you may behave a certain manner. And if you've done your research on someone's family history, then another so I would hear people in Annapolis start saying they're gonna lay down. You're gonna have to make them lay down. They'll be looking at my way, or when they say they, or when they say they, I guess they're talking about Imani too, because Imani Gentles were attacked one time, and I was like, "Are you okay, Imani? Did you wake up? Did you have an orgasm?" He said, "No, he don't remember." Because Imani has never had sex. I have practiced celibacy physically for a long time. For over 19 years. Imani has never had physical sex. Imani said he has never had sex with anyone. And he doesn't remember if he had an orgasm or not that day. He would remember. He would have known if he came or not. But the point is, if Imani is embarrassed to say it, he has never had physical sex before. Why would a energy of demonic sex rituals, satanic rituals, would exist in a city where the United States Navy, Army, and other military branches are so prevalent? That would be the question. Why? So and this is getting back to dream invasion. So let me finish. Oh, I've heard people at Annapolis say they're gonna have to cook. Spanish start jumping up and down, shaking their butts, like they're shaking like they're gonna loosen somebody up. Why would they be doing that? And like I said, once again, the Mexican girl I'm talking about that was with the Mongoloid demon, it looked like Naomi. I'm not saying it was Naomi. Naomi is about 16, 17, 18 years old. Okay? There's a lot of youngsters that work for Burger King. A lot of youngsters that work for Burger King. High schoolers. 14, there was that come in and leave. 14, 15, 16-year-olds. That's the visual and the spiritual experience I experienced. Look, the black Negro males and females look like those that come into Burger King and No Phyllis and some of the other managers. I never experienced engagement that I knew that caused me to get sick and caused me to cough. Never in my life. Never experienced four sharp pains until I came to Annapolis. So I think I'm going to end this at, let me think, is there anything else I want to say? So the question would be why? Why? Okay? So you can say, I want to get back, Sheikh Dwayne Bafabé, my Moorish American Nation family. A lot of times I hear black Negroes, African Americans say they did it. So once again, they not, if you hear an unclean beast or animal, or that from Mexico, South Central America, pale skin, that say 3, Mason, and then they look and they justify their filthy, low-life behavior by saying they did it. They're not arguing that they're low life, that they filthy, that they are below you, okay? That they are disgrace and embarrassment. That's not the argument. The argument is that were allowed to behave the way we want to behave, the way that's in our nature, because we made a deal, or their argument is, we made a deal and a pact with Moors that's supposed to uphold laws of freedom. And those Moors are no better than us. They're dirty. That's their argument. Their argument is not that they are not low life. They are not beneath us. They are not some type of lab freak with diseases and parasites. That they are not involved in sex trafficking kids, doing criminal activities. Their argument is, we were able to do rituals and perform acts of harm, acts of terrorism, and made it into some type of demonic ritual because we have a deal or a treaty with Moors that's supposed to uphold laws of freedom. That's their argument. And so I want Moors to think about that. And then I want you to think about Prophet Noble Drew Ali's caveat emptor. When Prophet Noble Drew Ali said, some Moors will fall for the last time and they will never rise again. I don't want to be that Moor. Islam.